Okay, so it's part 2 of the Dave Canales breakdown extravaganza. I'm giving you all the training camp breakdowns from the last week over the course of the next 2 days, so hopefully you are ready. This one is going to be him giving an update about the team. Let's buckle up and get started. My name is Nick. This is Roll Coverage.
Hey, I thought it was all over.
Nope. They roll coverage.
Practice started, the sky stopped falling the way that it was as we were walking over.
I love the dramatic buildup. There's nothing like it, right? And we're all staring out the window. But again, a little bit of a wet surface. Our fields are fantastic out there. Grounds crew did a great job of really building a field that drains well, and it took a lot of water in the last, 24 hours or so. But it felt like just a normal day there. And then, just the guys, I promised them, hey, we will get the heat ready for you so that we can acclimate the right way. But until then, we're just, we're taking every day as an opportunity with different elements, as we play mostly outside. So, but again, today, just to hit really quick. So,
this is the Dave Canales hype speech, whatever you want to call it. Every time he does a breakdown, every time I do a breakdown, I realize that he does this like little almost prepared speech, I'll say. It's not. It seems like it's coming from the heart because he kind of goes all over the place. But he absolutely makes sure to hit certain points. Or he must go over it ahead of time or whatever, or at least have an idea of what he's going to talk about, because he's always very nice with a group of people. He likes to not really single people out. He'd rather call out the whole personnel group and stuff like that. So we're seeing the chops of Dave Canales as a head coach starting to flourish and starting to become something of his own. Instead of Pete Carroll, instead of Todd Bowles, it's Dave Canales, finally. So
our back together practice, I just want to thank all the fans. I just thought about the energy that it brought into the building. We had a great individual session out on the fields. Then as we transitioned inside, to see all the faces, to hear the noise, there was an uptick in the energy in practice, which I love. Now, hopefully it comes internally as we go forward. We're trying to build that type of mentality, but the fans being there does elevate our competitive periods. So I loved that. Looking forward to Fan Fest at Clemson. So we have our first padded day tomorrow. So we're hitting, and the physical part of our play, we're getting after it just like we hoped for. And, everything's working out. Everything's aligning perfectly right here with our schedule, the way we have it. So we'll get to bang tomorrow. Then we'll go.
What do you mean by that?
what? We're going to what tomorrow? Dave, I don't think that is allowed per NFL policy. Okay. I'm just saying.
Go to Clemson, and we're going to treat that kind of like an inter squad type of scrimmage with our pads and everything. So we're really just looking forward to people coming out and bringing that energy for that particular practice too, because it's just another opportunity for us to crank it up and to really make each other better. One more thing, just wanted to hit. We had a guy down on the field, that was Daewood Davis. So there's something in his thigh. They're taking a look at it and trying to get more information. So as I have information, I'll give that to you.
We made a short about it the day it happened. I'm a little bit behind on this, but again, Daewood was also let go from the team eventually as well, so I'm a little sad about that. Daewood hopefully recovers and makes a NFL return. Hey, he might be comeback player of the year next year. I don't think it's anything too crazy, but obviously we're moving on for a certain reason. He's not going to address that here because obviously in this moment when he's talking, he doesn't know that, but hindsight is 20/20 for me.
Talked about your commitment to the run game, and Austin Corbett was talking to us Saturday about it. He said, listen, he's committed to it. I just wonder if you can speak to that. Why is that so important to you to get that established this season?
I think that the teams that play well into the season, especially towards the end, are the ones who can run the football and who can stop the run. I wish I had more models to go off of, but fortunately I have the model in Seattle, and then in Tampa we made sure that we established our mentality, our core runs that are important to us, and then it gets really specific with who our blockers are, who our runners are, and the way that we can utilize different people in the run game. But that commitment to me is the formula that I've seen work to make us competitive. And it challenges both sides of it. When you can as a defense, when you can force a team to pass, you can create good opportunities. As an offense, when you can run the ball when you need to, especially, you know, as a mixer for sure, because it opens up explosive plays, but finishing games, running the ball, there's nothing better than we're just able to just continue to pound it, find our different ways to do it. And it is the way that we connect. So when we talk about our style of football, the third thing we talk about is toughness. Well, defensively, run and hit, that's pretty natural. Special teams, it's high-flying action, and the toughness is naturally shows. But in order to tie our team together, it's that circle of toughness that the offense brings by running the football, by the attitude up front, the attitude of our runners and how they finish, that really makes us, it really connects all phases, defense, offense, and special teams. So we have a commonality, and that commonality is toughness. Well, running the ball is how we get it done here.
But it's such an interesting pick then when we look at the draft. We go for a strong blocking wide receiver. Again, he can go high point the ball, but he's a big, tough guy, so he could block. Jatavian Sanders at tight end was not rated as a great blocker. Jonathan Brooks is like, I don't think he's the best blocker from what I can remember from the draft profile. And then we get a linebacker and some defensive guys. I just don't know how you do that with the current running back situation. We're not going to be a smash mouth team unless it's Chuba. I don't see Brooks being a smash mouth running back. He's not the big body type guy that we're expecting to do that. But maybe the motion and all that other stuff is going to play a pivotal role in establishing our run game. That's something that we haven't necessarily had knocked down yet or nailed down yet. So it's going to be an interesting one. Right now, we still have Miles Sanders, Chuba, of course, who I'm going to be honest, I don't think survives and makes the team. I don't mean makes the team this year. I mean makes the team next year. I think he's traded or he's allowed to walk. And I think that's where Jonathan Brooks comes into running back 2 next year. And then he'll probably be running back 1 by 5 games in the next year. Because, again, he's not going to start until week 3 or 4 at the earliest anyway. So we're probably not even going to bring him in until like the trade deadline. Give him a little bit more time to heal up, make sure that he's 100%, and then let him go out. If we let him go out at 3 weeks and he's not at 100%, we are doing something so dumb. So,
a couple of absences and guys on the sideline. Shaq, Damian Lewis, and Sam Franklin. Do you have any updates?
Yeah.
On this guy?
Shaq had an illness. Damian's shoulder was sore, so he practiced for the early part of it, got some good individual, and then we just wanted to monitor him and the team. And then who was the last one? And Sam Franklin, so we did confirm Sam Franklin broke his foot and are back together practice. That's a huge hit for us. He's a fantastic spirited guy, really the leader of the special teams unit and someone that we're really going to count on. So we got to make sure we hit this rehab the right way, and Sam will come back to us at the right time. So really praying for him and pulling for him.
Sam Franklin was one of the big reasons why we beat the Texans, and now he's not going to be out there. I understand he's not, AJ Terrell out there or something like that, but he was making plays at the right moment last year. Again, big in that Texans game. So, interesting injury for us to have starting off the year. I need him back. I don't know why. Again, we don't pay him a whole lot. We don't expect to hear his name. But Sam Franklin did do something to the Texans. That's all I'm saying.
To clarify, will you keep him on the 90 and then figure out from there?
Yeah, that conversation is happening on what to do there. So I'll let you know as we have a more clearer picture.
I think he'd be back at some point this season.
Yes, you would hope so with the foot, and there's different degrees. So I can't tell you specifically the degree of the fracture and all that, but I just know that he'll be able to come back to us and help us at some point. So.
This is taking too long. Can I ask a question? Just ask. When can I ask a question?
We got to see Leggett get a little bit more involved in the offense. When you guys plan practice, do you make concerted efforts to get certain guys involved just to see what they're doing?
Absolutely. So whether it's offense or defense, our coaches put together a script so that it tries to put players in positions we need to see them in, or they need exposure. So just getting the guys to move around, trying to be really methodical with where those reps come in. And then sometimes it works out exactly how you hoped, and sometimes it doesn't, but you try. We try really hard to be intentional that way. So we're not just putting a bunch of plays out there and just kind of seeing who shows up. We're trying to feature matchups. We're trying to feature styles of plays so that our guys can be exposed to it.
That's good. That means that we're going to be putting guys in the position to succeed. We just need them to execute on their end. So I love this from Dave. He always wants our players to be prepared. Even though he has that face right now, he is super excited for the season. So,
Dave, we heard kind of a vocal JC today. Do you like kind of that? Do you want one or two guys on defense in particular to kind of be that guy that's going to, give some crap to the offense and kind of get his side rallying?
I love it. And really what I'm looking for, Joe, is I'm looking for guys to show who they are. And I think that comes with confidence. That comes with knowing what they're doing. And then just the natural flow of their personality. Each group kind of takes on a personality. I like that to happen organically. And that's JC, and he's showing this competitive side of him. And he's very vocal with that. And I don't expect all the guys to be that way. If it fits them, I don't want anybody to feel like it has to be contrived. I want it to be natural, and I want it to come from confidence, knowing what we're doing and having that attack mentality. I love that part of it.
There is
I like it too. I like guys' personality to come out. Of course, I love the guy who played for us for a bit. You might know his name, Josh Norman. Yeah, I want dudes to come out there. I like the Cam Newtons. I want the obtuse personality of guys at times. Especially in the secondary. Again, we're going to need some dogs in the secondary to be able to even hold a torch to some of these teams. So dudes like, Jesus, I almost called him Woods. I think Woods is still on the team. Yeah, and Horn and everybody, Jackson, Boodle, all of those guys are going to have a lot of opportunities. I'm hoping that capitalize on them.
Part of these guys are just kind of like feeling you out and like, okay, whatever, I'm going to get loud today.
Absolutely. And my reminder to them is I'm not in your way. I'm here. We are here to give you all the resources that you need to be as best as you can. And so for me, it's more just like, can I keep us connected to the principles and the style that we talked about? And from there, we will become this team. We will become this locker room, and the guys and the way they rally together. So there's this really cool give and take from the coaches and the players. So just hoping to see more and more of, not necessarily that, but just guys being who they are and really showing that, showing their personality.
Nice plays from Mingo and Terrace. What about guys that are second or third season receivers, especially from your experience, makes them finally start to emerge if that's what they're doing?
Real quick, I want you to remember, he was an offensive coordinator for the Bucs, but he was also previously a wide receiver coach for DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. So he knows quite a bit about wide receivers. I'm very interested to see how he answers this question.
Absolutely. It's learning the game and learning NFL defense, being able to adjust. That's the biggest thing. The biggest challenge for our wide receivers at the NFL level is defenses are so good at disguising, holding shells, and you kind of don't know what's happening till right at the snap. And then over time, you start to see what's happening before the snap. So I think there's a level of comfortability that comes with second and third year players. David Moore was another guy that it was 2 or 3 years in Seattle before he was really able to make that impact. And I see Mingo, I see Terrace, guys that are just playing really comfortably in a pro setting. And then of course they're big and fast and they catch it well, so the hope is to just get them to perform to the highest of their potential, right? And to create that format for them to do it. And they're taking advantage of those opportunities right now.
As you look to run the ball, as you've stated, what have you noticed about Chuba's mentality coming into this camp as at the top of your depth?
Oh, I love it. That's the attitude we're looking for. You talked about JC. There's a guy on offense, Chuba Hubbard, and this guy is like, he means it. Now, he runs angry, and he runs with the style that we want to be about. So I can't wait to give Chuba those opportunities to really, again, like as we find us, to really champion those guys that bring that kind of toughness.
It seems.
I agree, but we need to pick a lane. Are we going with quick, a little more elusive backs like Jonathan Brooks and Miles Sanders, or are we going the Chuba Hubbard, Christian McCaffrey, which is kind of the realm that I put him in? Of course, not the same level, but in my mind, the same kind of back. I think Chuba could take the ball out of the backfield. I think he could be a 1,000-yard receiver, 1,000-yard rusher if he was on the right team. Just not this team.
Like there were times last year where Bryce almost looked like he was kind of drinking out of a fire hose. How have you tried to make this year with a new offense more consumable for him so that you get what you want out of him early?
Yeah, we're not doing a lot different than what I've done in the past with the offenses. It's the progression of how we teach things. We want mastery. And so we don't move on from concepts quickly until we find like mastery of what we're doing. And from here out, we'll start to add. And those game plans and the practice plans will start to kind of add up on guys, and we'll see who's studying or who needs a little bit of extra time. But, you know, for Bryce, it's no different than some of the other quarterbacks. You know, we just expect him to master the day, master it with the walk through the afternoon before, come in, have your review in the morning. We get on the practice and we try to execute it. And he's just gotten better, a little bit better every day. And that's the expectation. We're trying to beat the guy yesterday, you know, and we're competing to find our best. And I see him really pressing into that, and I'm really pleased with his progression right now.
How would you evaluate his day-to-day?
You mean comparing one day to the next? Or
Sure, or just today in general. How do you think how was he accurate today? Was he getting the ball out on time, et cetera? So.
Yeah, saw some really good throws. I get excited about, okay, pocket's over, time to move, and he keeps his eyes downfield and found some nice completions after the timing of the play on the move, right? So we're not sitting there, we're not camping there. He's moving with that intentionality, and we'll just keep pushing it. You know, it's an ongoing thing. So I'm pleased with that, and I'm really pleased with just the mechanics, the pre-snap mechanics. We looked like a football team. We looked like an offense who knows what they're doing, you know, and we're still going to fine-tune it. We're looking for perfection always, but I'm happy with the growth from day to day from an operational standpoint.
That's going to be an interesting one. How much of the playbook is available to Bryce Young? Preseason game week 1, preseason 2 week 1. So it's going to be an interesting dichotomy. Is Bryce actually given the entirety of the playbook, or is he literally holding back a bunch because Bryce can't execute the way that he wants it? I think that's going to be a telling sign of how the year is going to progress. How in these first 3 preseason games, which I'm assuming Bryce is going to play the majority of, how is he able to go out there? Does the script look good enough? I hope so.
Up on Alex's question, there was one play in particular. He moves out to his right, tosses kind of like a bucket throw to Ian Thomas. What are you seeing from him and his vision, especially when the play does break down and he's keeping his eyes up?
Yeah, fantastic, aggressive eyes. You know, so he's looking down there, top down. You'll always have your options here, you know, but it's, again, we're talking about after the play, you know, and he's being able to, you know, we'll be able to find some explosive plays in there. And he'll know when it's, okay, it's covered, tuck it down, go get us some yards and take care of the quarterback at the end of it. But I'm excited about that because it trains the whole group, trains the defense, because there's going to be scramble quarterbacks that they have to continue their coverage beyond their assignment. There's going to be plays for our offense where this is the second or third play, and that's when your conditioning really starts to play in. Trust it. Go get that next ball. We'll take care of you. We'll make our substitutions. But he's training the whole group. The line has to continue to block and know when to let go. You know, so it's the whole thing.
You've worked with quite a few shorter quarterbacks, but most of them have had high releases. And I'm just wondering, how much does that high release help with throwing on the run?
Interesting. Okay, if you're not familiar with Dave Canales, normally he goes straight into it. This face is something he's really thinking about and does not have prepared. I don't know if he was anticipating to get this, but this right here, this dude right here is getting a face of like, boy, how am I supposed to answer this?
Yeah, it helps. Yeah, get on top. I say it when they're out of the pocket. Get on top, and it just keeps the ball from sailing at times, you know. So that does help Bryce for sure. But being able to throw from all angles is important, you know, as the pocket allows.
Coach,
I'm not sure if you just saw his face. Kind of, there's something he's not telling us. What is he not telling us?
Mayor Smith-Marset says that he wants to make his presence felt in that wide receiver lineup, as opposed to people thinking he's just like a gadget player, special teams player. What have you seen from him in terms of him kind of carving out his own lane and his identity in that wide receiver room?
He keeps making plays. That's what we want. We're looking for guys. Again, the message to them is we are not in your way. this is the challenge and the competition is, can you find your best? And he's bringing that to that room. He had a couple days ago, he had a couple drops in a critical 2-minute period. He bounced back together and made some fantastic, it was like literally the same play. Ball's thrown right at him. Andy throws a great ball. He comes up with a play. He's got a chance to cut back for a big one. And so that's the stuff that I hope to continue to see from him as we have to make these decisions and make these decisions as hard as possible on the scouts, on Dan and I as we go forward. So, and he's doing that for sure.
But that's an interesting thing to say, to emphasize that the ball came from Andy. Is ISM only getting these glowing reviews when he's getting the ball from Dalton, or is he also getting the ball from Bryce on a consistent clip where he's able to do the same? Is there a difference? Does it even matter? I'm not sure. But you tell me in the comments below.
Speaking of that,
we're going to do Darren and who else? Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Speaking of kind of Amir or other guys, is there anyone that maybe we haven't been talking about that's caught your eye over the first kind of almost week of practice?
There's a lot of guys. Just to rattle off a few, I look at the safety group. Nick Scott, Alex Cook, of course our Jordan and Xavier are looking fantastic, but that safety group, I'm just really pleased with how they're communicating, running to the ball. They're really showing the effort and strain we're looking for. From a linebacker group, beyond Shaq and Josie, Trevin Wallace, just watching him fly around. This guy is a special talent. Chased the ball down today after a play, which is what we want. We want the whole group rolling. So showing that kind of strain, I think, offensively, just looking at that receiver room, but also just the things that, Jordan Matthews, his effort, the things that he brings in, Stephon Sullivan, just flashes ability and length and how he's been able to attack it, We had some really good, I can keep going, but I think that what I hope for is happening. The groups are very competitive, and I hope that they continue to push each other as they're pursuing their best.
Sam's a pretty unique special teams guy. Are there guys in your head that you kind of think, okay, he can do some of the Sam things?
Somebody needs to get this dude right here, okay? This guy. A bottle of water, some gum, something. He licks his lips too much. I call it out in every video, and I'm going to continue to call it out until it's fixed. Somebody help him. He's our head coach now. We can't let him do this.
You can't replace Sam Franklin. But this is a great opportunity for guys to step up. The inside linebacker room has a bunch of guys who could help us. You got Chandler Wooten, you got Claudine Charles, you got Tay Davis, in there. Of course, talked about Trevin Wallace. So you got a real group there. Nick Scott, Alex Cook, we talked about. Deshaun Jameson is a fantastic gunner. We got DiCaprio Budo, who's also able to do a couple of things for us. A guy I didn't mention, Mike Boone on offense. He runs the ball the right way, and he's versatile on the special teams. So there's guys that can find a role for themselves on special teams, and really that's a great way to make the 53, is to make an impact in these practices first, and then, of course, as we hit preseason opportunities, to be able to step up, in that role. But Sam certainly is a special player, not just from a ability standpoint and the impact he makes, but also just his juice, his personality. He's one of my guys. It's like every day it's just this great opportunity, and he loves being out there. He loves playing ball, so a big loss there, but definitely looking for some guys to step up in terms of the play.
A shout out to the Carolina Panthers, as always, for bringing us these press conferences. And again, we're only in video 2 of the Dave Canales press conference extravaganza, so hopefully you enjoyed this one. I think we're in a very interesting place. Defense is obviously a place where Dave is really making sure to watch. Again, his favorite group to watch is the safeties. So that's going to be a point of concern, a place where he's really wanting to make sure it improves. We've got some guys back there, but of course we've lost some guys as well to injury. Hopefully this team is ready. We've got a preseason game coming up. Hopefully you guys are going to be there. I'm going to be watching it on TV. Gritting my teeth for sure. But regardless, Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Make sure you drop your thoughts in the comments below, or if you follow another team, make sure you tell me what team you are. I want to start putting out more press conferences for more teams as the season is ramping up, just like I did last year. So, my name is Nick. This has been Roll Coverage. Hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of the day. Peace. Thank you.